always liked the Jolt. Small, compact, comes in lots of different designs, cheap, what's not to love? Packs a pretty good punch too. Yeah, some people don't like how many of them there are, but it's still a cool little blaster. But it was always an N-Strike blaster. Its performance was, well, better than most of the N-Strike line, but never really that good. Case point, here we go, finally getting a proper upgrade in the form of the Nerf N-Strike Elite Pocketstrike. Kind of the redux of the Jolt. It's very, very similar and yet completely different. It's an odd little blaster, but first we have to talk about what entirely it is. It is a single-shot bottom prime knuckle duster looking pistol. It's a Jolt. It's a single-shot Jolt. It's a wee bit bigger, but at the same time, much, much thinner. Looks like the Jolt's been working out. And yet, is it actually a replacement for the Jolt? Looking at the packaging, well, really nothing of note. It comes with a blaster, 3 elite darts, no new products, nothing. Pretty bare bones. Kind of annoying. The blaster itself is rather interesting. Like I said, it's thin and it's got a rectangular plunger tube, which is something that's entirely different from Nerf. But at the same time, it's pretty massive. It's like a Jolt that got kind of ran over by a steamroller. It's nice and flat, but it is supposed to get those elite ranges. Now, I don't know, I'm not a massive fan of this thing. It is kind of big. It feels really good in the hands, and it's a single shot Jolt, but, besides the fact that they fixed the priming thing right there, which they did with the Rebel Jolts anyway, there's a couple of glaring problems with this design. For one, well, if your hands are too big, it won't fit in there comfortably. Mine, are pretty small, they fit in there just fine. But the main issue I have is the trigger. If you look at it here, that's the pin, that's where it pivots, right? So obviously pulling on the trigger right there is useless, and pulling on the trigger right here is useless, and right here in the middle, where you might want to actually hold it, you still can't pull the trigger. It just doesn't work. You have to basically hold it like this, or as I just did, it's way more comfortable to work like this, and kind of push your finger upwards, and it will fire. It's really awkward, it's not comfortable at all, and even the Jolt has a very basic trigger that works perfectly fine, so I don't quite get why they would change something like that. It's meant to fit in your pocket better. It's called the Pocketstrike, and yeah, it's like the size of a cell phone, putting it in your front pocket and whatnot. It doesn't feel any better to me than an actual Jolt. Worse yet, it's supposed to be an elite blaster, right? The performance is supposed to be straight up there with other blasters in the elite line. Kind of hits on the lower end of that, kind of like a high 50s, low 60s kind of thing. Not so good, and that's with a mix of darts, and I ran this several times through the chronograph, and I didn't really get too much deviation from that. It's kind of a letdown when we have something like the Dart Zone Phantom Stealth Blaster, which is the size of a Jolt, and yet hits about 72, 73 FPS on average. Damn. Kind of killed all my enthusiasm for this thing. Now there is something I like, and that is the design, and kind of like old World War II, World War I weapons, it's got that kind of no frills design. It's not meant to be comfortable, it's meant to be a single shot, last ditch weapon, and it looks kind of utilitarian, like it was just punched out of steel and, just welded together, and this is what you get. Kind of like a Liberator pistol, it's just as simple as could possibly be. It would look right at home with a green, army green with wood, paint chipping and stuff like that on it. A very good paint job idea for this. I'm planning on sanding off that gigantic Nerf logo and this massive amount of warning text on the other side and do something like that. And I'll probably carry this thing around because it's just so awkward, but does it replace a Jolt? Kind of a stupid question nobody is asking, but I have to go with no. It does punch a little bit harder than the Jolt, but not a whole lot harder. It's kind of annoying. I was not pleased with this, and I waited very, very long times to have this blaster. And it's kind of a letdown, unfortunately. If you like this kind of thing, well, you probably will like it, but I was super excited when I saw how big it was. It does look cool. I'm sure a lot of people, as I've seen comments, want to make like a knife out of it, which you could totally do, except for there's no place for you to really put a core for a foam blade, so it's just going to fall right off no matter what kind of adhesive you use, so I wouldn't do something like that. And that was kind of the last saving grace for this thing. It looks cool. It's kind of comfortable, except for that trigger. And I like the design of it, but at the same time, maybe after I paint it, I'll like it more. But right now, $8, well, it's better than the Glow Shot, but not by a whole lot. Let me know what you think about the Pocketstrike down in the comment boxes below, and if you have any mod ideas for it, I'd be interested to know what you're talking about. This might be one of the best blasters for a side-by-side integration. It would be pathetically easy to do. But that's all I've really got for it at the moment. If you like the Pocketstrike, hit the like button, and if you dislike the Pocketstrike or I messed something up, go ahead and let me know down in the comments and hit that dislike button. I'm Walcom S7, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course I hope to see you in an entirely different one. Gonna have to go with the Liberator on this one. I think it's a heck of a lot better. It's just such a fun blaster. Walcom out.